on him. In this video, we're gonna be going over the best rank play settings to achieve perfect aim. This video is designed to improve your aim accuracy as well as gun skill. So if this does help you guys out, make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn those post notifications. And let me know down in the comment section right now, what are your current settings you guys are running in ranked play? Because some things have to change as opposed to regular multiplayer. All right, as you guys can see here, I play with an Xbox Elite controller on PC. This controller does have a paddle on the back. I have one paddle set to jump, but these settings are gonna work no matter what type of controller you guys have, whether it be an Xbox controller, a PS4 controller, a PS5, or an Xbox Series X. These settings are going to work flawlessly. Now for the button layout, which is gonna be very important here, tactical is gonna be the absolute best. No ifs, ands, ors, or buts about it. Best button layout to play on when playing ranked play. Getting in and out of cover is what's going to keep you alive and winning games consistently. Now you can also perform a drop shot while aimed down sight, maintaining your accuracy, which is going to allow you to take people out very easily at close ranges. So make sure you guys go ahead and switch from default to tactical. You're going to absolutely love it, and I can guarantee you, you will never go back once you make this switch. Now you guys can also see that my vibration is turned off. I don't like controller vibration. It messes up with my aim and accuracy at longer ranges, and that's going to be literally what ranked play is all about. If you miss shots, you're dying 110%. Now, speaking of being accurate at longer ranges, you guys can see here on my button layout, I've actually went ahead and switched up my horizontal as well as my vertical sensitivity from a 4:4 that I do play on in regular public matches to a 6:6. Now here in ranked play, because people are going to be generally better than actual public matches, being able to turn on players is going to be a little bit more important in this mode, because people are playing to absolutely destroy you and win. So you don't want to get caught in a situation where somebody might get out of your peripheral vision. You won't be able to turn on them and take them out. 6:6 is the max that I'm going here in ranked play, unless they do some type of settings update, which I highly doubt. So you can still be accurate at longer ranges. Again, that's what's going to be important here in ranked. Now, I recommend you guys staying within that 4 to 6 range here. This is going to be perfect in my opinion. It's going to be that sweet spot, I should say. So definitely go ahead and make this change if you have not already, especially if you are new to ranked play. Because I know a lot of people like to go ahead and play on 8, 9, 10. That's going to be too much, I can guarantee you, especially if you're trying to go ahead and improve your aim accuracy as well as gun skill. Now for the multiplayer ADS sensitivity, this is actually going to transfer over to ranked play, so don't worry. I definitely go ahead and recommend putting this at 0.75. It's going to go ahead and have as little stick play as possible, so you can actually have as much accuracy at longer ranges. You're going to have less stick play in your right thumbstick, so that's going to be super important when being accurate at long range, when still running a higher than normal sensitivity. Again, I'm always advocating running low sensitivity. What I run in multiplayer for regular public matches of 4, but in ranked play, I bump it up to a 6. Now again, everything else is gonna be pretty much default here. I've not went ahead and made any changes under these categories. Now we're gonna go over to the advanced, which you can obviously see that I have on target aim assist turned on. I mean, 99% of people who are in ranked play are playing on controller. Definitely don't go ahead and turn this off unless you want to go ahead and challenge and completely torture yourself. Now my aim assist type is going to be on default. The reason I go ahead and keep this at default is because sometimes, which they did in the beginning of the game, they make changes to the aim assist type. Black Ops was the way to go. It still is a very good option, but they actually reduced the effectiveness of this. And the worst thing, the absolute worst thing you want to have happen when playing Call of Duty or any FPS game is having to relearn how to aim and be accurate at longer ranges. That's why a lot of the pro players restrict a lot of items and weapons in ranked play, and especially in competitive play, because nobody wants to go ahead and relearn a meta every single update. So that's why I go ahead and keep this at default. The rest of these settings I've left at default. The only thing I've went ahead and changed is going to be the dead zone setting, but again, these dead zone settings are going to be specific to my controller. Now, if you have a newer controller, the less dead zone you're going to have to run. The older your controller, the more stick drift you have, the more dead zone you have to run to go ahead and compensate. So this is something you're gonna have to go ahead and fine tune yourself depending on what type of controller you have and your controller's health. But again, everything else is gonna be pretty much the same. Obviously, gyro is turned off. I don't have a gyro controller, but again, everything else under the advanced controller settings are going to be how they are out the box factory. Now for the graphic settings, you guys can see here, we're jumping right over to view. I'll explain that shortly. With my FOV, I personally like to go ahead and play on 120. I recommend you guys playing on a higher FOV, especially when you adjust your ADS field of view to affected. It comes on independent by default. Definitely do not have this enabled. 120 FOV with affected EDS field of view is going to allow you to have less visual recoil and make sure your weapons are a little bit easier to use at longer ranges. If you're ever wondering how streamers, YouTubers, or players that seem to be melting you at long range seem to have no recoil, maybe you think they're cheating, it's because they're running a higher FOV with affected ADS field of view selected. It's going to mirror your FOV with whatever iron sight or reticle you're running, and it's going to make the gun feel like it has less recoil. So definitely go ahead and make this change as soon as possible. Now, under the weapon field of view, you want to go ahead and keep this as default. Everything else under the view setting, we're going to go ahead and leave it alone. I don't like messing with anything. The only two things you need to go ahead and touch are going to be your FOV and ADS field of view. Now, under quality as well as display, these are going to be honestly dependent on what type of console or PC you're running. Because I play on a PC and I make content, my settings are not going to be optimized for you, because I have some settings turned on, some settings disabled, so it can make my life easier going ahead with transitioning from scene to scene, and obviously running my game the best it can run with OBS open and a recording device like I'm using to make this video. So we're gonna go ahead and completely skip over display as well as quality settings, because my settings are not gonna be optimized for you. Now, under the audio settings, this is where things are gonna get very interesting. Your audio mix, headphone bass boosted, is going to be mandatory if you have some type of headset. Now, you don't need to have an expensive headset. If you have a headset you bought within the last, honestly, like 5 to 6 years, you'll be good to go. I have Astro A40 TRs, and I can hear absolutely everything. They don't call me ears for no reason. You can hear gunfight, you can hear footsteps, you can pretty much pinpoint where people are at without having the use of a UAV. And because that's restricted in rank play, that's going to be mandatory and key to have enabled. So make sure you have headphones bass boosted on. Now, obviously, master volume will be turned up here, and again, everything else is going to be pretty much default under these audio settings. I've not went ahead and made any changes to this. The most important thing you want to go ahead and do is make sure you're playing on headphone bass boosted. Turn that volume all the way up so you can hear footsteps, hear gunfire, and figure out exactly what's going on, wherever it is going on the map. And then finally, under the interface settings, you want to go over to your HUD, and you want to make sure that you have your mini map set to square. Do not let me catch you running on a circle mini map. Not only is the square a bigger picture, but you're able to go ahead and read it a little bit easier, and you can obviously figure out where your teammates are and position yourself according, depending on what type of mode you're playing. Personally, I love hardpoint, so being able to position myself accurately with the square mini map is definitely going to be the way to go here. And that's going to be the only thing I want to go ahead and change under the interface setting when going ahead and playing ranked play here in Modern Warfare 2. These are going to be the best settings you guys can use for ranked play in order to get perfect aim. If you guys are truly trying to improve your aim, accuracy, and gun skill, make sure you guys go ahead and turn down that sensitivity. 66.75, 120 FOV, affected, you're going to be golden. If this video does help you guys out, make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn those post notifications. Been your boy Ears, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.